Madam Prosecutor, rebuttal.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Cannon told you that we're in the business
Just
of...
1 minute, please. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cannon, I told you that we are in the business of opening and shutting cases. No, we are in the business of justice. We are in the business of helping families who have lost their loved ones. We are in the business of getting the right person. Nobody wants somebody who has murdered 3 people wandering around on the street and not being caught. We want safety. We want the right person. That's why we look at all of the evidence in the case. Mr. Callahan said to you, oh, well, of course he was afraid to talk to the police because it was all over the news, and that's why he went into hiding. He left before any of this hit the news. He got out of that neighborhood before that video was released to try to identify the person who was in that store. He was already gone. His family was already helping. They were already shutting it down to be in lockstep together. And that interview with the defendant, he's just some kid. He was hard in that interview. Sat down, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know. I don't really know why I'm here. And then every time they would ask him a question, he would laugh, put his hands behind his head. And yeah, they lie to him. They tell him, we got your DNA. And what does he say? Then he starts making some admissions. Oh, well, Paris did jack place. That makes sense. I better admit to that. And I'm all over the news with Paris. So I want you to, if you want to watch that interview again, watch how hard he is in that interview. And then watch how he talks with his family about what happened in this case. This was a very personal shooting. This wasn't like a drive-by shooting. This wasn't somebody walking by the house, firing into the house. This was a go in, take everyone out so they can't talk about what happened in this case. Very personal shooting. And as to motive, there's no evidence as to motive. It's the defendant himself who gives you the motive. He's the one who brings it up in there when he's talking to the police. He's like, well, it's the thing. Everybody finding out. Everybody finding out. Don't nobody know. Well, everybody knows now because he left 2 people alive. Let's talk about that video. At 8 minutes. 8 minutes. The defendant wants you to believe that somebody in that house just took an 8-minute walk at the exact same time as there was a massacre happening in Devonshire. Defendant would have to be the unluckiest person in the world for somebody to have taken an 8-minute walk from his house at the exact same time as the shooting, when you know that he was worried about everybody finding out what had happened in that house that night. The fact of the matter is, and this is a fact, I'm not asking you to guess, the fact is he was in that house. He was sickened by what happened. He was worried about his family finding out. And the fact is, you do see someone leaving that house, and it's the defendant. Sabrina and the mother, in this case, when you go back and listen to those calls, not one time are you going to hear them complaining about somebody else leaving that house that night, or other men coming in and out, and oh my gosh, this got their son cut up. There are admissions in this case. You've got the defendant who knows he's being recorded, who knows that he's being listened to, talking about taking a 25-year plea. Talking about, I'm sorry I put y'all through this. So yes, we do know who walked out of that house for those 8 minutes during the exact time of the shooting. It wasn't anybody else. There's no evidence on this record that anybody else in that house had any problems with anyone over on Devonshire, or even had any contact with anyone over on Devonshire. Just the defendant. And they know that video is a problem, and that's why they tried to walk back Sabrina, and that's why they even tried to challenge the fact that he lived in that house. There's a reason for that. And not only that, the defendant is the only one who got out of the neighborhood right after this shooting. Just the defendant. There is no evidence on this record that anybody else went back to that house that night and committed this crime. The only evidence in this case points exactly to the defendant. Not asking you to guess. It's a fact that Blair says it's him. It's a fact there's a video, that 8-minute video. It's a fact that the defendant flees. It's a fact that the defendant's family knows that he's on the lam. It's a fact that his mom is upset that he went out on that porch and got himself caught. It's a fact that she's saying to him, we're just going to pray for the best. It's a fact that the uncle's like, oh, you heard what Sabrina said? Is it good or bad? And if you go back and listen to that call, you're going to hear him say early in that call, I know you can't really talk right now. That's because it's being recorded. But they're still trying to assess what we have. It is a fact that everyone who talks to the defendant on the calls, his family, those people complicit in him hiding out, are worried about the evidence in this case. Now, if you go back there and say that this is not enough, I want you to listen to what the defendant himself says. If it comes down to it, 25-year plea, I'm sorry for putting y'all through this. Mom, we're going to hope for the best. And I want you to think about that interaction with her and Sabrina. She can't be a witness because she's here with me when that's happening. Wouldn't this have been a good time to say, I know it wasn't you, son, because you were here with me too? Or the defendant to say, I was at home with y'all. They can't say that because he's the one taking that 8-minute walk over to Devonshire to kill all of those people. So you can't discount the identification. You can't discount the video. You can't discount the fact that he took off. And you can't discount the fact that when you listen to those calls, that family knew exactly what happened. And they are counting on the fact that they can play you for fools. 3 people lost their life in this case. Yeah, we want the right person. Because 2 people survived and had to be brave enough to come in here and face him down. So I'm going to ask that you go in there and do all the work. Look at all of the evidence in this case. And hold the defendant responsible for first-degree premeditated murder for Alunte Davis, for Timothy Blancher, for Paris Cameron, 2 counts of assault with intent to murder for Blair, and for Armand, who watched their friends die and tried to save their lives, and for those companion counts of felony firearm for using a firearm in the commission of those murders and assaults.